Welcome to Sentient Trails. My ambition for this podcast is to make a limited series of 10 episodes where I aim to have long embodied conversations in the outdoors. I aim to contrast from the 90 minutes, almost exclusive indoors talking heads that flood the web. And I aim to explore ideas flowing as my guests and I wander the land. As I try new things here, I do not know what the results will be. I definitely don't know what I'm doing. But if I was, I would not be exploring my edge. My intention is to become a better listener and learn from others about what it is to be a human being, as they find meaning in their artistic struggles, their spiritual paths, the scientific endeavors, and philosophical explorations. I have found that this process has been very energizing for me, and a childlike nature tends to emerge in the conversation. I tend to get excited by the insights about what the land is presenting to us. And so I hope this will also be an opportunity to inspire you, to get you out and move and have a dialogue with your loved ones and the land. May our ideas stretch, our emotions flow, and our bodies re-energize. My first guest is v.Lamoen. He's a musician in various projects ranging from pop to metal. He's a voice actor, and as he calls himself, a man of 5,000 hobbies. What I like in him is how he embraces the trickster archetype, but also gets in touch with the depth of grief and chaos at other times, which are themes I relate to a lot. I'm also proud to call him a longtime friend, and I hope you enjoy our conversations we had recently nearby where I live in Eindhoven in the Netherlands. And the place we went to is lovely, but happens to be right below our path of landing planes, and so the trickster energy will be popping out in and out of the conversation, begging us again to not take things too seriously. So I ask you to treat it as a feature and tune in deeper to hear the signal through the noise. And now, let's greet the land. Son Semer! My name is Andre, son of a trickster father and explorer. With a bit of a Dionysian twist, and son of a stoic warrior with a big heart. And I kindly ask you to be good to us, to be kind to us. And thank you for having us. Do you want to say something to the land? You don't have to, but if you wish, you want to say anything.
I think you covered it all. It's me, Dennis, son of a quadriplegic, and let's have a nice day.
Let's have a day. Cool. Kudos to the quadriplegic who managed to birth you on its own. So we know each other for a long time.
Yeah, we do.
That was right after Lehman Brothers or something like that. I'm thinking we had a common friend invited us for a party.
Yep.
And that was a cool thing because you could have a fire and guitars, and at some point, at that time I was like full on Tool religiously for a decade. But also all these 90s bands, and you mentioned Michael Patton. And I said, like, who's that? He said, oh, come on, dude. He didn't say like that, but it was all about, look, he's a shapeshifter, he's a Renaissance man, kind of. He does voices for, a vocalist and singer for. He kind of made rap metal cool before it was, rapping metal was a thing. And Mr. Bongo and Face No More, and I forgot his other projects, but basically
just throw a fucking rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Peeping Tom, Fantomas.
Oh yeah.
Collaborations with the Melvins.
Yes. And yes, we started jamming. We jammed together a few times. But what I really like is how you've been working a lot with your with your voice as an instrument. And I recognize like your ranges, you're singing in a band called the Crusade, you're doing voice for artistic projects on a cool platform called Newgrounds that I didn't know before. I feel called to do a stop here. There's a bit, that's the lake or the pond. That. And yeah, I like because I recognize a lot of humor, irony in your work, and the importance of not taking yourself too seriously. And yet there are other works that are very deep and dark. So tell me a bit of your journey. How you discover that? Was it always like that? Was it?
Well, I have always been into music. My father used to be a drummer.
Okay.
We had like a band in the family, which was actually, look in hindsight, completely cringeworthy and awkward, but they had fun. But so there was.
Still cringeworthy.
yeah. But they had fun, and they essentially did a lot of covers for like wedding parties and stuff like that. They also wrote some of their own material.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
No, it's something I haven't actually thought about for like a million years.
All right, here you go. Return on investment at minute 3.
Yeah, we're
So
already making breakthroughs.
How was that? Having a band rehearsal with your family?
Yeah, well, I was basically just one of the groupies / roadie. And they were making the music. But yeah, like I said, it's about having grown up around music being made and created. So that always came very naturally. I used to have like my dad's old drum kit in my bedroom for as long as I can remember. So, and I was interested in creating my own stuff as well. I remember being, I don't know, 6, 7 years old and having like this little booklet in which I would write down drum patterns, which consisted mainly of numbers and drawings of the drums which to hit. And then at some point I managed to grab a guitar, an acoustic guitar from somewhere. I started fiddling around with that. And I only started taking like drumming lessons when I was 15 or 16, I think. So I have very little in terms of formal communication, formal education. I never took guitar lessons either. I just started playing along with things I liked, and that went a lot easier all of a sudden when I discovered power chords. So, and then I got very deep into Helmet, which I absolutely love the way he writes his riffs and his guitar melodies. I was a big Tool fan as well, of course, which is actually how I think we got talking, because I think I was playing some Tool, the Campfire, and then infected you with that. I'm not sure anymore.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like Michael Page from Helmet because it was noise rock, it was grunge, but you had elements of jazz in it.
Oh yeah.
And up until that moment, for me, jazz was quite elitist, and I never managed to really connect to it. I mean, some pieces, but it's not my thing too much. But yeah, that guy is amazing in terms of you can hear the punk energy in the sense like you don't have to sound melodious, and yet there is something in there, some harmonies, and the rhythm, the broken rhythms, there's like
syncopation, yeah.
There's like dissonance and like it sounds like, and the heavy bass, at least on the earlier albums, and it's okay to be weird. That there is like some beauty in weirdness and darkness.
Yeah, that's especially what I found. Would you say about jazz being possibly elitist. Fuck, the same goes for metal.
Yeah.
The same goes for
yeah.
classical music. The same goes for fucking punk.
You're right. And they were I heard that the Clash were mocked all the time.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to just break the mold of what punk is. And always, yeah. They love plastic Bertram. And yeah, but no, they rap, do metal, do disco, do pop, and fill stadiums, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's it. Go nuts, you know. Music just about like about any art form, it allows you to. Yeah. And what I have learned over the years is that I am especially drawn to the bands that manage to do something else than all the other bands. I like heavy music. I do like metal. But yeah, like a ton of the bands, if you heard one, you heard them all. There's no excitement in it for me. It's not just about being heavy. It's about bringing something to the table as well. And that, I think Helmet is an excellent example of that. I've seen it labeled the thinking man's metal somewhere. And that kind of adds up for me with the odd time signatures and the syncopation and the sudden shifts in rhythm or mood.
Yeah, I like that you have those bands, like you hear the first time, you say like, what the fuck is this? It comes again and you're just like, and you have this reaction like, oh, why is it so weird? But it has tension and release. Mm-hmm. There is a chorus, there is a melody, there is a harmony there. So it's like, and you kind of wish for the ugly part to not be there, or if the voice would be more normal. But then you start working through it, works through it. No, it's perfect the way it is. It's even genius. And whether it's Bowie or any other weird act, let's say, art, or fully committed authentic artist, let's say, that's.
Embrace the weirdness.
Yeah.
But I used to think I couldn't stand classical music.
Uh-huh.
But then, if you serve me something by Beethoven or Mozart, it does nothing for me.
Yeah.
And then I found Le Sacre du Printemps.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I read that on the first performance, like the audience just walked out on him.
Yeah.
Because they just couldn't handle it.
Yeah. Or even in the other direction, Mahler, when he did his first symphony.
Yeah.
People were, I guess, from a certain background, so that they show up and they were expecting to be entertained. And he just fills it up with noise. Or as in like, just where is the melody? Because it sounds like instruments picking up here and there almost for a long time. And people were also working on it, what the hell is this? When does it start, kind of thing. But he picked it up because I think that's the anecdote that I heard. I love the dragonflies. They're having a polyamory thing. They said that he was 11, he was poor in Hungary, and at that time there was a bar downstairs with a lot of rowdiness and crazy things going on. And he wanted some quiet, so he kind of escaped the home, and he found a piece of land, and he just wanted silence. And at 11, he picked up all birds and gushed in the wind, and so that's why when the piece comes in, it's an open A. And when you listen to the wind in the trees, it's open A. And it just like feels like, so every time I walk in the forest and I hear that, I was just like, oh, it sounds like a half perfect pitch. but it's just fascinating how, everything is music. See, like, and I don't know if you have that. I'm sure you do, or maybe not. Sometimes you'll drop something in the kitchen And that sounds like, oh, that reminds me of that intro from this drum kit on Deftones, for example. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, and then you continue. So now you try to do the opposite. It's like, okay, where is the music in this? Or whatever what is considered noise is, see, the boundary between noise and music becomes very interpenetrable and relative. So I don't know where I'm going with this. Sorry for interjecting. How is it for you on the other side, being weird from the inside, being chaotic, dissonant, exploring those things?
Yeah, every day is a new struggle, I guess. Well, it's funny because we earlier we already talked a bit about creativity and how it manifests and how you sort of put a handle on it. And what bites me in the ass a lot of the times is that I write music in my head. I hear a melody, a rhythm, whatever, and I figure out what it is on a guitar, on keys, just on a computer, I don't know. I have by no means perfect pitch, but I can define intervals between chords or notes pretty easily. So I get a good idea of, once I find the root note, on how to play the rest of it, poorly. But then I start building on that idea and adding new other instruments and other layers. And like I said, I do all that stuff in my head. And then it's time to translate it to an actual song and an actual recording. And every single fucking time I'm like, no, this is not how it sounds in my head. And that's really frustrating. And in the end, it's only my problem, because whoever else hears whatever I make, they absolutely don't have that frame of reference. It's just in my head, and but that does make it daunting to finish, or sometimes even to start on projects. Which is why I really appreciate a site like Newgrounds. It's not that I do publish a lot of music on there. It's more on the voice acting, which is another a completely different way of making audio projects. But they do have, like, every now and then they have a competition for musicians with a theme or a set of constraints and a deadline. And if you want to join, well, here's the rules. You know up front when it needs to be finished, what the do's and don'ts for the project are. And either you go for it or you don't. And I find that the moment that I do go for it, the song basically writes itself for the most part. And then still I end up with that little nagging feeling of, well, but I don't really like this, and this didn't come out as good as I would have liked. But that's the big problem in my, both in my creative processes and in my life in general. I was raised with the idea that everything needs to be delivered perfectly. So given half the chance, I'll just keep engineering. If something doesn't stop me, like a deadline, I just don't get shit finished.
I totally resonate with that. That the work ethic is very strong, and that's a good thing, right? That gives us to care, and I recognize that itch, that frustration. It's whether it's the head, the heart, or somewhere else in the body. It's just like, you just like you care, but it's not. I say an itch because it's really the same as you have an itch somewhere in your back. You can't reach it, and you try to get it the best you can, and it's a very sensual, very embodied thing. And what I struggled was always, you have the muse comes by, you feel like, yeah, this is awesome. And then you want to put it down exactly on an external surface that's not your head. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I found myself incredibly frustrated because I didn't know how to work with any recording platform. So by the time you spend 2-3 hours, you depleted in dopamine or whatever it is that keeps you going to make it fun. That just feels like shit. So this is where I understood that, well, you have to make it fun somehow. Get some friends around, they do the recording, or do it in a way that it's out imperfectly, but at least it's out.
Yeah, amen.
You know?
That's still my biggest struggle to date. It's I'm actually at or just beyond something of a crossroads at this point myself.
Mm-hmm.
Over the past year and a half, yeah, that makes sense. A year and a half, I think. It all started with the previous school year. We got the news that my eldest was going to have to switch high schools, which is essentially not a really big deal, but it does take a lot of time and effort, and as a parent, it does give you some worries. So that was eating away at me, basically because you're powerless to do anything in the entire situation. You just need to roll with the system. So that was gnawing at me already. Then in May of that year, I decided to sign up for a year-long class as a coach practitioner.
Okay.
So that's something I started on in September. Then we accidentally bought another house, more or less, midway through June. Yeah, it was something that we had been postponing for some time, and then suddenly we were triggered to look at houses, and within 2 weeks we made an offer on one and actually got selected. So it was a deliberate move, but it came as quite a surprise that it went that fast.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had to do the moving, the redecorating, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I also thought, well, my wife said like a year or two ago, I'm not sure, you should try theater at some time. Think that would suit you. And I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense. So at some point that thought popped up again. I went to the internet, looked at the websites for a couple of local communities, found out that one was having like season startup nights in a week from me looking them up on the internet. So I went there, and there was a really big crowd coming in there, and they were like, yeah, well, existing members have preferential treatment, so there's only so many spaces that they have for actors to play, so many roles and so many shows, basically. And it was that fucking busy. I was like, okay, I'll just register, and then at least next year I'll be on the list and I will get preferential treatment.
Yeah.
And then I got selected.
Guess.
Yeah.
You're good at this. People see something in you.
Yeah, I highly doubt that helped, because it's like an amateur club with no requirements. It's free to everyone, so it was basically the luck of the draw, I guess.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter. But I found out I sorely underestimated the amount of time and effort that being in a theater company would ask of me.
to learn by heart lines. Well,
I even had to study Arabic.
ah, shit.
Or no, that's a
Well,
lie. I didn't study Arabic.
But, yeah,
I had a friend in
understand what
Saudi
you're talking
who
about. Yeah.
he voiced the lines for me because the script section was in actual Arabic, so I couldn't even read it.
Yeah, yeah.
So I had him record the lines and sent them over. Goedemiddag.
Hi.
And I just phonetically wrote out what he was saying.
Yeah.
And it basically more or less like a song. I committed that to memory.
Yeah.
Just vowel for vowel for vowel, syllable for syllable.
Oh,
And I managed to get it all in like the last 2 weeks before the show.
wow. So,
And performed.
how's that performing that piece? I mean, what kind of character was that, or what kind of?
Oh man, that's a story in and of itself.
All right.
It was like a very existential thing about how humans create language and how language shapes human perception.
Those are my topics, but
Yeah. You
you should have called me.
you could have had a field day with that.
Okay.
But it was everybody in my group, and most of whom already had like years and years of experience with that community. Most of them were like, "Oh, this is a really difficult piece," and I can understand why, because the script is really nonsensical and it goes every which way.
Yeah.
On the other hand, I had no frame of reference, so I could deny nor confirm what they were saying.
It's like those pieces from Samuel Beckett, you know, they sound like so out there. They have non sequiturs and but they can be so deep and absurd and yet so profound.
Yeah, I still need to read Waiting for Godot.
Yeah.
It's on my list.
Yes.
But anyway, so we had the house, we had the school, we had the education, we had the theater. So yeah, I've been basically living on borrowed time or borrowed energy basically for the most part of the year, which ended with the last summer holiday. So it's only a couple of months ago, and since then, well, first off, I decided that I'd take some time off and do a little bit of relaxing. But then, yeah, I started thinking, okay, now what? How am I going to continue? What way do I want to, what way do I want to go to get my energy back again and get a little sense of self? And that struggle has actually been going on for the past couple of months. I started watching a lot of YouTube videos from like coaches and people into that kind of stuff about setting goals and creating habits and establishing your patterns. And I went through a lot of that stuff figuring I want to do something with it. And as usual, I wanted to do everything at the same time and perfectly. And so then every time I ended up second guessing myself as to whether I was focusing on the right thing or whether I had my priorities straight, because as it turns out, I absolutely suck at setting priorities and I want to do everything at the same time. And now I kind of got inspired by one thing that a couple of those guys said, which supposedly was the way Jerry Seinfeld developed his own a show, basically.
Yeah.
Where he would give himself, he would live by two rules, basically. Every day, write one joke.
Yeah.
Cross it off on the calendar.
Yeah.
Rule 2, don't break the chain of crosses.
Yeah.
And that's something I had already been tweaking or playing with over the past couple of weeks, but made it too difficult for myself. And now I've basically come to the conclusion, well, okay, so I suck at setting priorities. I'm not even going to bother trying to set them anymore. I just want to do that same principle, but every day work on something, whatever thing it is, that I believe will bring me peace, will bring me happiness, will bring me where I want to be in the future. Whether it's the entire day, whether it's only 2 minutes, doesn't really matter. And I think in that respect, not having priorities is actually a blessing, because there's always something to work on. And now the beauty is, I can cross off the calendar basically by breakfast.
Oh,
Because
you're that efficient.
No, but like I said, it's about just doing something.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that when I cross it off, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
But it's going to be an upward spiral.
Yeah.
Because you see that you are making, you don't actually see you're making progress, but you see that you're putting in the effort, that you are creating something, that you're building towards something. And it is my belief that the longer that chain of crosses becomes, the more motivating it will be to put in more effort. Because it gives you some confidence and it gives you some peace of mind, and that in turn will give you energy to invest in the things that you want to do. And I actually only restarted this yesterday. It was fall break from school last week.
Yeah.
My wife and the eldest went to Berlin for most of the week. Trip with the two of them. So I took most of the week off from work, and yeah, basically just spend the days kind of feeling sorry for myself and indulging in my escapist tendencies for the first couple of days, thinking, okay, where to go now, what to do next. And then yesterday morning, I woke up and I was like, yeah, well, you can keep thinking about doing stuff, but that's not doing stuff. It's not getting you anywhere. And it's good to have a plan, and it's good to have at least some idea of what works for you and what doesn't. But it's the same with the music projects. I can keep on engineering, I can keep on tweaking stuff, and in the end, nothing gets made.
Yeah.
And that's the decision I made now. And already within 2 days, I feel completely different than half a week ago.
Oh. So much there. So before I reach the conclusion, what came up to me is like, you see, like we talked about the voice as an instrument and how you suddenly, the mystery brought you to radical changes in your life with your changing the house, and which is a physical, logistical nightmare, but it's a necessary evil for a new, fresh inspiration, wind, energy.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like, yeah, you should do acting, and yeah, it's gonna be fine. And then you propelled, sucked into this project that seems pretty heavy for at least me, but for most people, a very difficult language to embody, and have to like really take on the challenge, and to now just making it part of like what you're all about, because now it seems like the things are a bit settled now, or you have a bit more space to be a bit more yourself. That commitment to a daily thing that you love is the work and the sanctuary. Like this, you know, for everything you have to go through for work, for the kids, but that thing that you do for 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, is you can regroup and re-energize. Does that sound? How does that sound?
Yeah, that sums it up pretty decently, I guess.
Did I miss anything?
In broad terms, no.
Why?
If you go look at the details, it explains why my life is a hell. I have an Instagram account, and I basically describe myself as the man of 5,000 hobbies.
Yeah.
And that kind of makes sense. I'm at the moment, I quit theater for this year, which was a very conscious choice. I might do some music for one of the pieces, but that's something I can manage, and it doesn't require me to show up on practice every week. But I'm still in 2 bands. I enjoy making visual art, which I'm experimenting with. I never thought I had that in me until I started.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, I did some painting. Right now I had the idea for a new project. I saw a movie, like a report on something, or on filmography, I think, on YouTube, and it showed a quick scene, a flash basically from what's it, The Dark Knight?
Yeah.
The Batman movie with Heath Ledger's Joker.
Yeah.
And he had his card, as in his calling card, which was the Joker from a deck of cards. But then there was this one shot where there was a Joker card dropped somewhere with something on it, written on it, like, "Will the real Batman please stand up?"
Yeah.
And that shot really inspired me. I was like, okay, you can actually make art. You can make something that with only a small sentence or with only a couple of words that triggers the imagination, and just make them onto playing cards.
Oh yeah.
So I went to the thrift store, and for €1 I bought 2 decks of used playing cards.
Yeah.
And my wife has a couple of typewriters around the house.
That's cool too.
So I've made the first card today, because this is something that I've been thinking about a long time, but then I find myself hard pressed to actually do something. But then what I want to do, I've bought like this a couple of millimeter cork sheet, which I can glue the card to, and then paint the cork black, and in red I made a stencil from my logo, the Lucky Dee face. I made that out of a plastic card, and then I can paint the logo on the back. So you have like more than just a simple card. It becomes a little bit more tangible. It gets a little more weight than just the small piece of thin cardboard, really.
And so what inspires you is to have, like, instead of the card of the Joker, the card of the Lucky Dee?
No, just every card. Just make the card the canvas.
See.
And see how much space you have, and where that space is, and how you can arrange words on it to make to send some meaningful message, and preferably one that's open to interpretation, or that triggers something, that excites you in some way.
What comes to me is, first I have to rewatch the Batman in that scene, and the second thing is, when you say that this one sentence or this one image can send your imagination to spin, and suddenly it brings you that focus, and suddenly so many things are possible. But that's so cool. That's how many times people that call themselves non-artists are actually like falling short, right? They just, that sounds interesting. They contemplate. It's magical in itself, but then, oh, come on, let's do that. This needs to be materialized. This needs to be tangible. I need to manifest this thing. Let's do it. And it may not be perfect. Maybe it is, right? It's like you surprise yourself there. And
that's it.
Like a right turn, left turn, possible at any time from the predictability of life. Well, I want to look that. Send me a picture of that when you think it's done or ready for show.
It's actually the first time I painted was something similar. There was one like fraction of a second shot in the opening credits of the movie Seven. Where you see it, I don't know if it's a newspaper clipping or a picture or whatever, but it's obviously a picture of some guy's face, just completely streaked out with paint. You see just enough of the contours to realize that it's a face that's underneath it, but it's basically just one big block of black paint in thick smears in a horizontal direction.
Yeah.
And I did something similar. I took like a passport picture,
Yeah.
which I scanned in and blew up
Uh-huh.
on to like an A4.
Yeah.
I stenciled that out,
Yeah.
so I had a stencil of my own face, spray painted that on canvas, and then with several colors just start removing the face.
Well, that's it. You're in it. You're in it, right in the pocket. And yeah, I find yeah, like you move from one art to other, from music to voice acting to a painting activity. And it's funny how, at least for me, but you see, you had a certain image and you say, you know, this thing, I could never do that. And then, I don't know, something happens that it feels like the most natural thing, and you feel like, yeah.
It's ended up
And it's just like,
ended up that I did.
like, for me it was poetry. I was like, I was always trying to write lyrics and was never satisfied, but I had this work ethic, like if it's not anything less than perfect, it's not worth outside because I'm afraid of judgment. And then a few years back, it shifted totally. It just felt like the most natural thing to just write things that they don't have to rhyme. Who said poetry only has to rhyme? As long as it's very deep and the image relates something that it's in you, it's totally worth it. And it doesn't have to be selling millions. It's a snapshot of what your soul was like.
And that's it
moment.
exactly. It's catharsis.
Yeah.
It's finding an escape valve for whatever it is that's building up inside of me. I have like a love-hate relationship with writing lyrics for mostly the same reasons that you just touched on. The lyrics are always, basically always, the last thing I write for a piece of music. The music comes first, and then generally the lyrics sort themselves out. And I found that the very easiest way for me to write lyrics is to find a topic that really triggers me emotionally in some way, and then it basically just comes out all in one go. I don't. Did you know the band The Devil's Blood?
Is that the guy who suicide or overdosed, or?
He killed himself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Salim Libushi.
Yeah, because I heard that track and it was like so dark and so true, and I totally resonated how this person was very important in your life.
Yeah, and that's the stupid thing. He wasn't.
Okay.
He was a guy, I only found out in hindsight that he was doing international tours with his band and made it really big. He was this guy that was in a band that shared a rehearsal space with my bullshit punk band in 2004, 3, 5, I don't know, way back then. And it was only, I think, 10 years later or so that he ended up ending his life. I was in some kind of Facebook chat group, I'm not sure, with all people from Eindhoven who were into the local music scene. And one of the guys shared the article on his death. And I was like, I don't know. I have no idea who this is about. And then I saw the picture and the first name triggered. I didn't even know his last name. And I was like, damn, that's this guy.
Okay, next door.
And he was amazing.
Oh.
I understand musically he was a complete pain in the arse to work with, but he was such an incredibly good guy.
Oh.
And that's something snapped in me. And I don't know where the music came from anymore. I don't know, yeah, I do know where the lyrics came from, but I think, I believe I wrote the lyrics in like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
I just went walking outside with the tune in my head. I didn't even have it on earphones or anything, but just listening to the groove in my head, and everything just fell into place. And I had the same thing with my father's botched surgery that left him paralyzed from the waist down. And I had the same thing again, writing something about myself when there was like a high school reunion, like the 25-year reunion coming up. And it's these kind of things that are, generally are incredibly dark and deeply personal. But that's when the words suddenly come really easy.
Yeah, getting in touch with that feeling and putting words on that, and you notice how much potential for healing, you said, and well, that's, yeah, I mean, the absurdity of life. And I feel how you, like, I can hear the story that we all have, which is like, if you're good at something, you should be happy doing that. And that person had their demons too, and now they died. It just feels like such an injustice, and that can be taken away at any moment. You also mentioned that, I remember that video, that track where you said that a friend was had an accident and ended up in a wheelchair, and when you reached out to him, that was the day you decided to take up running again.
Yeah.
And you found that irony worthy of putting that on a song.
Yeah.
Tell me more about that song.
Yeah, that was about my dad actually. And how did he end up there? He had or has a rare condition that does something to the cartilage. It calcifies the cartilage in your body more quickly than it should. And he was already struggling with his health in other respects, and then he was going to go into surgery. There was, I think it was a hernia in his lower back, which was supposed to alleviate some of the issues that he was having back then. And then during surgery, something went wrong, and there was I think a restricted flow of oxygen into the lower half of his body, which of course nobody saw coming up front. So instead of healing, he was actually set back
Instead of getting
further in a lot of respects. And indeed, I'm not sure. That might have even been the first time that I decided to go running. I mean, health is something is one of the things I would still like to improve on. And I've never been much of an athlete myself, and I always figured that running was a pretty stupid activity.
What it is. What
yeah,
you're running after.
Yeah, or away from.
Away from, yeah.
Well, I figured I needed to do something. So, and running is low maintenance. You don't pay a gym fee. You can do it whenever you want. All you need is a pair of shoes and shorts that don't chafe. So it was like a low-key thing to start doing.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, the irony of that. Me thinking I'm gonna change my life for the better using my legs, and then my father at basically the same time ending up worse off than he already was, due to no longer being able to use his legs.
Yeah, that fucking sucks. Because now what I want to think is like, in one way, I'm not gonna be crippled in my journey of discovering what it's life about. That hopefully my kids can, move forward somehow.
What do you mean?
As in that, if my kids are an extension of myself, and whatever I am about, I'm hoping that they're gonna continue. But it's like you're passing the baton. But there's a sense of sacrifice there that comes up to me. May or may not be. I'm maybe projecting stuff. But it's like, I start to notice, all these dark things that happen to you. Like, I didn't have that much to deal with friends of mine dying or family members having issues. I don't know if you want to talk about this. We may not have to, because I remember shortly after I met you, you had to go to hospital and you had surgery for cancer.
No, it wasn't cancer. It was a tumor.
Okay.
A bone
cool.
tumor.
So you have these like hints of a spectra looming on all of us, and how you just like, what does it take to come back from that? And I guess music and friends and love, and well, I don't know what helps you to move forward after those. I imagine it wasn't. Yeah, basically, what helped you to move on? Was it really music, or was it? I don't know.
Yeah, to me, music has always been a healing thing. I don't think there's a day that goes by that I don't listen to some piece of music, whether consciously or as in putting on something that I want to hear at that moment, or just walking in the supermarket and hearing a song that I actually don't give a fuck about and humming along nonetheless, or singing the harmonies to myself. I don't know. But yeah, that's just the one thing. I at some point I took the Lucky Dee moniker as something to publish my art under, and that's basically how I see myself. I don't think I have had a really easy life, as in not like children in Gaza hard, but yeah, I've had my demons and I've had my struggles, and like I said before, and I'm more than willing to admit to anyone, I seriously considered ending my life for quite a number of years growing up. And well, here I am. I didn't. And despite the struggles, despite the hardships, despite having made stupid decisions, countless stupid decisions along the way, and acting like a fool, here I am. I have a wife, I have kids, I have a good job, I have too many hobbies to possibly be able to handle. If you look at it from a distance, there's nothing wrong with my life.
From my distance, it looks awesome.
And that's that's a stupid thing. It's the narrative that you tell yourself. You can keep telling yourself, I'm not feeling it. I'm struggling. I need to change something. I wish for this or wish for that, or. But as long as you keep telling yourself that, that's what your life is going to be. That's what you end up believing. I think it was you actually who introduced me to Headspace. years and years and years ago.
Oh, yeah.
And back then I gave it a try, and I was like, yeah, well, it's okay, but I'm not going to pay for it.
Yeah.
And then I think roughly a year and a half ago, I got the paid subscription.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep coming back to that, and to just, beforehand I always thought that meditation was like
Running.
deeply spiritual and a lot of, basically overblown nonsense.
Yeah.
Until I found out that it's not about emptying your mind, it's about coming to terms with what you are at this point.
Mm.
It's about coming to terms with feeling fucked and going, okay, yeah, I feel fucked. Fine. Rather than getting sucked into that and adding fuel to the fire, basically.
Yeah. Well, first I don't remember. And I did have a headspace for about a year. Then I felt like, okay, I know how to work on my own. I don't need an app for that. And I get the idea. And but yeah, putting words on on that misery. Finding that right word that really echoes what you're feeling. And sometimes it might be a word, maybe a sound, maybe... It's crazy. It sounds so simple, but sometimes I have the image of a fruit that has to be mature, right? You cannot accelerate whatever happens, but you can help it. But yeah, I like, was it... Yeah. I remember with the meditation I had also, well, I was doing it every day for maybe 6 years, and it has given me a lot in very subtle ways. I cannot say that. And I did it at first as a transaction. You know, like, that's why I said like running. You run to get fitter, healthier, live longer, all these things. Maybe calm down, right? And I remember that one moment where I felt like so outrageous because I was somehow the meditator in my group of friends.
Yeah.
And somehow I would be like the kind of guy that, you know, when a vegetarian shows up in a room, he would, after his name, hey, by the way, do you meditate? You know, I meditate. These kind of things. I was laughing at it. I was just, oh God, I was that guy. Yes. Right. The joke where you put a jiu-jitsu practitioner, a crossfitter, and a vegetarian in a room. What do you think they're going to talk about? Well, I was the meditator who was eventually saying that, so high on feeling better than others. You know, one anecdote was like, we go for a picnic with friends, and two other friends shows up, they're friends of another one, and they say, hey, this is Andre. Hey, you guys, you know, blah, blah, blah. Hey, by the way, they meditate too. Yeah, they meditate, cool. I've been doing it for 5 years.
Whoa.
And I did, oh, what did, like, maybe after leaving that picnic, she's like, why did I say that? Wow, what an asshole. She's like, yeah, because I think somehow they've been meditating for 2 years. I said, I've been doing it for 5. She's like, oh, good. I didn't speak to them. They didn't speak to me after that. I'll never know what happened. That's it. A missed opportunity for me rubbing in their face for soup. And that's definitely, I clearly didn't understand what meditation was about if I needed to say it like that. But just like, but that was like a big slap in my face. I said, oh gosh, no, this is, the demon is really until the very last nanometer of whatever you think is the finish line. Just like, oh gosh. Then, I remember also moments where, gosh, sometimes life gets in the way of your meditation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I was like cheating, just like fast forwarding the thing just to get the bonus
get the
point.
streak.
Get the streak. It's like, oh gosh, and I did it. And I remember even getting angry at times, because I don't know, internet wouldn't work, the app would be gone by midnight or whatever, 24 hours, and whatever I had feeling, just like the gamification of it was like, so it was a great opportunity to meditate on that for sure, like be reset to whatever you thought was like, no. And I thought like, fuck that. That's not fun. Now I'm not. Who's doing this for what? For whom? So I paused that, and then I did meditation a bit more lightly, and then I was bored of the same meditation, and then I moved to other meditations, and then started spacing them out, and then I realized way later, like years later, that somehow I would get the same effects of the meditation from being either at sports or playing music for a while or maybe having simply a very good night's sleep. And I realized like, okay, I guess these things aggregate for sure, right? Not to say that you shouldn't do it, of course it's good for you, but I always thought like, like, hey, there's gotta be a way that I can sustain that flow state somehow.
Yeah, I think that's just it. It's, to me, it's not about the meditation sessions themselves. It's the tools they teach you to live more mindfully. It's not getting caught up in your thoughts, especially if they're destructive in any way. Just realizing that your thoughts are running away with you and putting a stop to that, and just being in the moment and enjoying whatever it is you're doing.
That's a meta thinking is clearly the most important tool from that, to be able to see yourself from this different voice. Because you say, like you mentioned earlier, there's like those demons that we all have, these negative voices that, I mean, we don't always know they're negative because they sound the same as the one that tells you, yeah, good one, right? The voice in our head sounds like us, yet it can destroy us, being stuck in a loop, or it can help us, move forward. And I remember, just somehow that inside that we are not our thoughts, that was a revolutionary thing for me. That you don't have to pay attention to every single word that comes out of your head. It's like, there is such a thing as a stupid idea. That reminds me of a story. I'm not gonna tell the whole one, but just the chapter of that story is a woman that turns into a fox. Sometimes she gets kidnapped by a ogre, and the ogre is gonna eat her in the morning, but she's trapped in a hut, and there are things in that hut like animal fleeces, and at some point there is a voice that says, hey, maybe you can just grab those wings and be a crow and fly away. And she tries really hard to fit those wings into her. It just doesn't work out. It's like hours, and she's at despair. But when she's really reached despair, she throws that thing out of the, flying through the air. Now somehow there's a calling, not a word, for looking up at that fox pelt, and she starts to just interact with it. Not because, hey, you should try that instead. No, just that voice or that feeling was like the same thing, like you feel like, hey, maybe I should pick up this instrument. What does it feel like? And then she starts to pick it up, feels like a glove. And now she starts playing with it like a kid is doing cosplay. And then suddenly she starts to mimic the fox. And from there, like, she starts digging a hole, and now she disappears and runs away, and she gets saved. And like it's the easiest thing in the world. It's just like, so we do have fake news in our head. We have a very deep intuition, but you have to let it linger. Sometimes it's this meandering that life is about. That, not taking it too seriously either. Which brings me back to your humor. I love your dark humor.
So do I.
And not many people like dark humor because they may be taking it too literal, too seriously, but the trickster in you is something that I relate a lot.
I think that most of all is what has kept me going all this time. Seeing the most destructive, the most stupid situations occur around you and being able to laugh at them. For some reason, just to find that one thing that makes you laugh about it.
Was it always like that, I guess? Was that one thing in you, or was that in the family, or?
It's definitely in the family. My dad has the same thing as well. So I definitely know who I got it from. But that's something I am continuously really grateful about. Being able to laugh at your own misery and at the misery of others. Because in the end, it's also fucking futile. We're here for, what, 50, 60, 70, 100 years? I don't know. And then we're gone. And all these troubles, all these hardships, whatever stories we tell ourselves, it's so damn fleeting. And it seems like forever when you're in the middle of it. But it's peanuts. So why take it all so seriously?
Yeah. Well, I like that archetype, and sometimes, that was nourished for myself in high school even more. But humor flat was irony was always present in my family too, because we had so much shit going on. The only thing we can do is like either be pathetic, full of apathy, just not moving, or you can start to just like find the humor in it, and somehow that relief just makes it like it cannot always go on like that. Sooner or later, statistically, life cannot only bring you shit. It's gotta be something good after that. To the point where when something good comes to me, I always temper it down a little bit, because I'm more expected to be taken away at some point, or to be broken, to not fit perfectly, to be an illusion.
Yeah.
And that keeps me like in check. But some other people don't do that, because it sounds like I'm ruining the joy. I'm killing joy. I am negative. But that's not how I think. It comes from a place of love. It comes from a place of care, and I realized that I can only laugh when I feel safe to do that. But there was time where I was not taking any gloves. Any moment I would just. So I had to learn to use it in society. But how is it for you? Do you have a filter, or I don't know?
Yeah, everybody has filters, to some extent.
With your boss.
I can't make the same jokes to my wife that I make to my coworkers, and I can't make the same jokes to my coworkers that I make to my friends. And I do like to provoke, and I do like to see how far I can go before it becomes clear that I've overstepped
the line.
overstepped a line somewhere. But then, I've been doing this for so long that I consider myself to be a pretty good judge of character in terms of where the line should roughly be. And even when I do realize I'm crossing a line, I can generally give it a twist, just enough of a twist for people to realize that I'm absolutely not being serious, or
Well, that's good.
That's one of the things I would really love to be able to do. I don't have a poker face. I cannot say stupid shit without laughing
Yes.
about my own
Yeah,
jokes.
that helps.
So,
Well, yeah. Yeah, I guess that's the main thing. Sometimes when my girlfriend makes jokes, I don't get them because precisely I make a point of emphasizing through the ridicule. I change my voice. I to make sure that, hey guys, you know. But yeah, the best jokes are the ones who can keep a poker face. I feel like it's like, oh, is he insulting me or laughing at the situation?
yeah, I'd love to be able to do that, but it turns out that I am my own best audience. So,
That's annoying too.
yeah, yes and no.
Yeah, I see the who's your favorite comedian, or do you have a type of?
I don't have a favorite comedian.
Or you remember back in the days when you were forming in comedy, somebody you were going back to often, or?
Nah, no, not in particular.
Okay.
And the comedians that I do like, they go into like a range of different directions in terms of what their comedy is like. I enjoy like Dutch, the more classic Dutch comedians like Herman Vinkers and Bert Visser.
Mm-hmm.
I also enjoy listening to people like George Carlin or Bill Hicks or yeah, there's such a broad spectrum.
Yeah, yeah, I love I like Bill Hicks. He was, yeah, you had to be warmed up sometimes. Some pieces I could do that, and in French, I always go back to the black humor of Benoît Poulvord. He's from the Brussels side, and
Yeah.
I remember him going into places where the French comedians were several orders of magnitudes never there, because I guess the microcosm of Belgium and using the French language in places where, you know, French people still think that they are the center of the world. And this guy just using the same language to go even deeper into places where, like, whoa, what have you done? Like, so he had these sketches about death, about mocking Ayrton Senna on a wheelchair. It's just like, hey, how you doing? or yeah, mocking like French celebrities with their stupidity. That yeah, these people are institutions, and I said like, yeah, it's okay to go there. So now I knew his sketches by heart because he always puts on this very arrogant face, but his body he described it as a frog body, a big belly with no arms, no legs, you know. So, and he pretends to be athletic and like it's all in you, you know. You can be a figure of authority, and that helps me to yeah, the image that we have of ourselves. Who do you think you are? That's really, I like that. To be careful, to pay attention, to move on.
Yeah. My legs are going numb.
Thank you, Oak Tree, for this inspiration. It was so inviting, but now we need to. My body feels like it would be nicer to move. So I just put my shoes in the bag, since it's mostly sand, and see where this takes us. Yeah, there is there was that voice you did for this kind of farmer, or like this kind of
like the Animal Farm thing?
Yeah, I think so.
There was one, I'm part of a...
redneck type of guy. And there's this thing about American humor, right? We only get some of it through, you know, South Park, Simpsons, Family Guy, Horseman Jack. You know, they are on the same vine of 90s irony.
Yeah.
80s irony, we would say, echoing like, gosh, we're supposed to be the great empire, but look at the mediocrity of people around us, where anything is possible but downwards. And yeah, I resonate with that you think progress is about the more we have about those capabilities in technology, and the more you have stupidity around you and in yourself to grapple with. It's just like, it feels like such a dichotomy, such a split, such a schism of holy shit. We're supposed to be wiser, smarter, more beautiful, and then the conditions make it that we're still like struggling as ever, frustrated like ever, and just comedy around that is just such a reality check.
Yeah, I get you. And then, again, it comes with not taking yourself, either as a person or as a species, not too seriously. Not being afraid to highlight the stupidity in our collective existence. And there's, to me, there's some twisted beauty in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what voice or what skit you have been listening to. By now, I managed to make quite a couple.
Your corpus of art. Yeah, the corpus of your art is large enough. Yeah. Well, maybe I remember you played some kind of farmer and a shotgun was there.
Could be.
Maybe I was. Sorry, I'm distracted by mushrooms.
Finding shrooms?
Yeah, I'm not 100% with agaric, but we'll see. This is nice autumn vibe. Mm-hmm. Do we know where we're going?
In my house.
House.
We'll end up in the known world at some point. So.
Oh yeah, the forest where you go into and never come back.
Yeah, no, the voice acting was another of those lucky shots, basically. It's something like with acting in theater, something that I always thought, yeah, well, I can do this. How hard can it be? Okay, so I underestimated theater, but for voice acting it was completely different. Because I already had all the recording equipment and the know-how on what to do with it. And yeah, to some extent acting does come naturally.
Yeah.
And I had been to Newgrounds previously. I had already registered an account there because I got in touch with a guy who develops games on the platform, and then ended up not viewing the site in quite a number of years. And then 2020, I think, 5 years ago to the day basically, I had some time off, and on a whim I decided, well, let's look at Newgrounds again. And right on the front page was this banner with Halloween voice acting competition. And I had time on my hands and I was like, well, fuck it. We're gonna give it a shot.
Cool. Yeah, well, I really like that collab platform. You put something out there, hey, I need this, I need that, who can help me with finishing this thing? Because otherwise it would be the creative struggle on your own. Right, trying to stretch yourself there, not, which can be good, but now it becomes fun. And you get connection collabs that you can maybe rekindle. It gives you experience. That's so cool.
Yeah, there's so many talented people to work with, and yeah, people willing to contribute and to create something and to make use of each other's skills.
Yeah.
And then yeah, the voice acting thing has been ongoing for yeah, forever since then, basically. Sometimes are busier, sometimes are yeah, I find my efforts going elsewhere, so.
Yeah. It's yeah, because it's fascinating, because before you mentioned Newgrounds to me, I was on the impression, I mean, I'm not too on this side of the artistic spectrum, but that, yeah, at least what I heard, it was like so much judgment from artists among each other. And yet this is a very lonely practice that you highlighted at the beginning, that it only makes sense that we should be collaborating more. But there was this story that sometimes you find that you have to do it all on your own, and it has to be better than others. So whoever turned art as a competition with all these prizes and all these you know, exhibitions that have to be rewarded somehow, that make you feel good about yourself, and when the muse disappears you feel shit. That having, you know, I heard, I kind of toyed with the idea of making a type of alcoholic anonymous gatherings, but for artists, where the idea is like, hey, you know what, it sucks to be in here. Yeah, it sucks to be there. And like, oh, me too, and that's, oh. And then they basically help themselves, but they are together, whichever. That's one way. That feels more appealing. So the fact that spontaneously there is a platform that just allows you to just put yourself out there and everybody is encouraging, I feel like, of course. And we should have more of that. So
Yeah, what to say? Basically, every platform is worth a try, and a lot of it, I think, is also how self-conscious you are as an artist, or how confident you are in your skills. You get hate on Newgrounds as well.
oh yeah, okay.
People that are just around to troll, or that check out your music, which is in a genre they don't like at all, and so they give you a bad review because they don't like the genre.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck that.
That's the trick. The stricter from the other side. That is not ours. And I remember a tip that.
Oh, let's go this way.
That's beautiful. I'm just going to take a picture. There was this storyteller who said he always wears a hat because he got told by an experienced storyteller to do that, because when he has a shitty performance, he can bow down and imagine that the critic goes to the tree behind him, but he catches some of the critique with the hat.
Okay.
And when he does a good performance, same story. You know, he catches some of the praise, but most of the praise goes to that tree behind him. So it's the same thing, like whoever criticizes you or gives you praise, take it with a pinch of salt and move on, because otherwise it gets into your head and you're either unable to produce more, or you think you're the shit and you're probably doing mediocre work at some point, or predictable. You become predictable.
Yeah, well, the main thing I decided for myself, at least, is that I create art for me. Whether it's music, whether it's something visual, whatever it is, I I create it to please myself. And if I manage to inspire people along the way and make other people happy or trigger them into deeper thought, all the better. Goedemiddag.
Hi. Beautiful horse.
But I do it for myself.
Yeah.
Nobody else has to like it.
Yeah. Yeah, to have that. Was that always like that, or you managed to reach that conclusion midway through, or?
I'm not sure. I think it was a while before I consciously realized it, but I think it was basically basically part of my work ethic since whenever I started music or creating.
Yeah, I remember here when I'm producing things like our lyrics and being really afraid of what other people thought. And it took me a long time to have that insight that, you know what, fuck the others. You know, if I'm happy with it, that's my journey. And whether it's one person or 50, I am happy of what I've done because it was sincere into what I felt, and I know it's, you know, it's beautiful and true. So I think it's pretty much anything I would wish my kids to take on is that thought of authenticity. And but sometimes you don't know how that awakens, because people can tell you, think for yourself. Okay.
Yes, whatever you say.
How that matures.
Now what you say it sounds familiar as well, and there have been plenty of times when I did worry about what other people thought. No, I think that's actually not true. I worried about what I thought other people thought.
Yes.
And that's it all comes back to yourself again. It's that second guessing yourself as to whether or not what you're doing is good enough. It's not in other people, it's in yourself.
Yeah.
And I also found that you can't predict or gauge people's responses to something you haven't released yet. And even if you have released it, there's no way for you to catch the full spectrum of people's reactions to it.
Yeah.
You're only gonna hear the most vocal ones, either positively or negatively, or even neutral.
Yeah.
It's the people willing to speak up.
Yeah. It clearly says more about them than what you do. If they ever disagree or don't like it, so surely it's just like.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool. Right, let's see.
And that's why I do like those music competitions, because I never join them to win. I don't stand a fucking chance. There's just too much talent on the website. I join them because I know they make me create something.
Yeah.
They make me finish a project. So I win by default because I've created.
Yeah, yeah. That's a good way to see it. Because people say, oh, you only participated and stuff. No, hang on a second. I get to affirm myself, something I truly care about, regardless of the result.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I've never been here.
I don't think I've been either.
And this is nice and refreshing. Got a nice lovely path. And not that many people. And not that many planes. And I'm constantly feeling drawn to see whether a mushroom could be picked. I am drawn for chanterelle, but I think that's the fourth one. I mean, it's nothing bad, you can eat it, but it has no flavor.
Yeah, well, you can eat whatever you want, but I'm leaving it to you.
Yeah. Regarding authenticity, I remember before we arrived here, we were talking about how you ended up here, and you said that you were kind of forced to study things that you didn't like.
Uh-huh.
Do you mind going over that again?
No, sure.
So the ethic of the house is like working to something that is going to pay you good, and you fake it until you make it. Was that kind of, or?
Yeah, with the implication that there was no faking it. You were just going to make it, period.
Oh shit.
There was a real focus on money, which I also see in my grandparents, or especially my grandfather. Of course, they went through World War II, so yeah, I kind of get how they grew up with like a skewed perception of.
And before World War II, there was like Great Depressions and.
Yeah, he wasn't old enough for that.
Okay.
Or isn't, because he's still alive actually.
Okay. I mean, it's probably their parents, which is all that.
My grandmother turned 97 in September.
Oh.
96 or 97.
Still kicking.
And yeah, those are my two remaining grandparents. Yeah, they're still there. But yeah, there was no such thing as doing less than the highest level of education, or there was no other goal in life than to get the security of a high income. That was what everything was geared towards. And in a really sick and twisted way as well, because there was there was never any money to spend on fun activities or on nice things, or to just tickle yourself every once in a while, because that was not how you managed money. And then come things like Sinterklaas or Christmas, and we would get fucking showered with gifts.
Oh wow.
As in stacks beyond what is healthy for a kid to receive. So there was this real, this urge to compensate that restriction. And of course, if you grow up in it, you don't know any better. But looking back, yeah, it's not a healthy approach to life, if you ask me.
You binge and you fast.
But anyway, so yeah, I was the oldest. I'm the oldest kid in my family. I was the oldest grandkid. So naturally, they were going to repeat the cycle all over again. When I did still look looked into that for myself, I would love to have gone to a music school after high school, but that was not where the money was, so that was definitely not going to happen. Incidentally, all three of my sisters went to art schools.
And that bitch.
That's I'm still a bit salty about that one.
Oh, shit.
No, that's not true. I was, but not anymore.
Good.
No, but then, yeah, I finished high school, and by that time the situation at home was actually pretty fucking terrible. My parents told me you were going to go to university, so I enrolled into university in architecture because, yeah, sounded nice enough. And so I left my parents' house to live as a student, and I basically did everything except go to school for roughly 3.5 years, during which I tried three different educations.
So you didn't enjoy the Ionian, Corinthian, and Doric columns?
I didn't even get to the point where I was told about those, dude.
Yeah.
I discovered beer and drugs, and yeah.
Well, that's what's
There we go.
That's another one.
Let's go that way.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, any topic, if it's presented dry and on a transactional level, can be.
Yeah, but I was there because I was getting away from something.
Oh.
I wasn't there because I was moving towards something.
Yeah.
And that's the entire thing. So then, when everything fell through and I realized that the situation was really becoming unmanageable, I finally mustered up the courage to have a chat with my parents about it. And at that point, yeah, I simply quit school and just started working in the supermarket because I needed to do something. And started considering, okay, what is it that I do want to do? So, and that's how I ended up doing audio engineering, which, having been a musician all my life and interested in music production, that was the only logical choice, basically.
Yeah.
And just before I started that, it was in 2005, I met the lady who is now my wife. So I had been living in Eindhoven up until that point. I moved to Amsterdam for 1.5 years to study. I remember having my final exams on a Saturday in Amsterdam-Noord. Middag. And the next Monday I was painting the walls of our new apartment in Eindhoven.
Nice. Yeah, what comes through that is like how life really, like, again, changes very quickly for you, and but in a direction that seems very, welcoming, I guess. It unravels.
Yeah, it's funny because on the one hand, I enjoy structure and enjoy predictability. But on the other hand, yeah, in the end, it's all about rolling with things, just going with the flow. And if it doesn't feel bad, just do it and see where you end up.
Yeah, rolling with things. That really sinks really deep with me. Because it's a dance and a fight.
In what way?
Well, yeah, I mean, you resist somehow and you feel like you're from yourself, but in Jiu-Jitsu, it's all about that. You realize to not take it too seriously and relax, or in that storm, and you're surprised how much the body responds to things. And other times you're just like, it's now, and then you flip things around, and then it becomes, oh, look at that. I found a bullet that is mushroomy, which is too late, but that means there are more in that area.
Okay.
So this is really good spot, worth coming back to. This is eatable for sure, but I'm not gonna turn this into a mushroom picnic session.
Thank you.
I will book my. Thank you. I will. I will just book my spot. Yeah, so, and then you realize that there's a sense of timing. So, what is timing? But the dance, is music in the movement.
Yeah.
So, and you can just embrace it. And you can get distance and re-engage. And so, dancing and fighting is very similar. I heard that Bruce Lee was a cha-cha-cha champion in Hong Kong. Next to, or before, I guess next to, his Kung Fu, Karate, Wing Chun practice. Because that sense of timing is everything you do when you do sparring. And if you see the eye in everything around you, because by essence everything is something that draws you in, or you can resist or go around. So this weaving, this dialectic, this it's everywhere, and to recognize that helps. Like, hey, you have maybe more possibilities, that you don't have to fight this thing that's right in front of you. Maybe let's see if you can go around. Let's see if you run away with it. Let's see if you can enjoy it. And then be a bit playful, trickster. In capoeira they have this, either the malandro and majingueiro, the trickster or the magician.
Yeah.
Which life is full of that, you have the one that they both play with the extremes of reality as we know it. They do things that could not be considered in the mainstream, let's say. So that's why you do what? Takes you into wonder, or the other one brings you into horror. It's just like, what? And there you go. And sometimes you realize that you have to be a bit of both.
Yeah, in the end, you don't control everything that happens to you, but you do control the way you respond to it.
Yeah, yeah.
You on the right turn?
Sure. Yeah, that looks appealing. Yeah, Jiu-Jitsu has been really good to me. As much as music, I never thought, because that's the thing is, when I was little, my father he did karate. I guess he didn't mention his belt, so I guess he's done it on and off, but the way he was teaching it was extremely not enjoyable. And he has been a trouble kid, because he was the last boy of 8 kids around, with a lot of politics and betrayal and nasty things happening in that family.
Okay.
So he was very violent at school, fights almost every day. He changed schools 5 times, and that was in the 60s, 70s. So there was a lot of knives in Colombia, right?
Yeah, of course.
And then so the structure came from taking it with other men in the countryside, where they were, oh, you want to play man? Let's do work with this uncle that we have that has a cattle and many people. So jump on a horse that give you some focus. And he loved it. And then from there he also discovered some discipline through gymnastics and martial arts. And then hiking in, he joined rescue teams in the Andes in case there was a plane crash.
Okay.
He would go with the Red Cross and try to find any rescue people. So see, the body calmed down a lot of his demons. Not all of them, because he still felt not seen by his parents. Therefore, he needed to be seen by others. And that turned him into a drinking buddy. So drinking was like he needed to have fun and release that. But every time he was next to animals or doing a bit of sports, that settles him down. But the way he like, this is how you defend yourself, this is how you punch. So I learned a few moves, but I didn't take up karate or any of these martial arts till way later. I picked up football, and he was like, what do you want to be? Like kids do to their parents, right? Not following completing architectural stories or not following the art school like everybody. So that's why, yeah, it's funny. Learning to surrender. This is a lovely spot with all those trees. It's much closer than the other spot, full of people walking their dogs.
Yeah, I really like it here.
Yeah, I think I'll be back more often.
Well, this will take us back to the exit again.
Oh yeah, okay. We'll have time. Well, we can explore more the trees here. We can explore the trees over there.
Yeah, sure.
And it's not steep. Yeah, so you did studies for music engineer, right? Recording engineer.
Yeah.
And then after that, yeah, you said your mom was like, oh, you better study now because your brain won't be, you won't have interest in doing studies after work, but after that, or after being too old, but you've done quite a few you've taken a few courses since.
Yeah, more. I think I spent more year in school after high school than I did during high school itself. At least more than I did in uni. Now, yeah, by the time I got back here in Eindhoven with my diploma, I tried finding work in the audio engineering, but there was no, little really suitable around here. But yeah, during the time that I did go to the college in Amsterdam, I needed a job to support myself, so I did all kinds of office jobs as a temp. So that gave me something of a resume. And I just decided to build on that and did some more temp jobs over here until I landed a contract with one of the jobs that I temped for a couple of months. Middag. And then that built my resume even further, and so I got the next job, and as I started developing in the jobs, I started finding out what skills I was still lacking and started studying for those. So yeah, it all pretty much went really organically, my career development. Yeah, and it's seeing the opportunities that are presenting themselves and then deciding what action you want to take on them.
Yeah. It's sounds so easy, and yet yeah, there's no infinite. When you do something you love, it feeds you. There is no, there's no problem going back to that. Which brings me to a good definition of discipline is not, we often hear discipline as something that comes from top to down. You should do this, like the meditation or the sports. But when you hear the word disciple, is in the word discipline. So you become something that calls you, right? Something that keeps calling you, like music, like. You show up for that practice because it keeps calling you and it feels right. It seduces you, it makes you like a homecoming. And therefore it's no longer an effort. It's not something that you have to remember to do. It just feels like, this is something I do, and that's my sense of home. And I find it fascinating to be able to be given time to just reflect on what it is that calls us. That I don't know if it's boredom that I'm looking for, but this aspect of, spend a gap year, 2 gap years, 3 gap years, even 5 gap years is severely underestimated.
Let's go that way.
Yes, that was great to go here.
Yeah, it's not how society is shaped, of course.
There's a lot of fear, huh?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's during a time where we're supposed to, but there was still like the economical crisis, you should, at least in France it's pretty severe. I'm sure it was similar here with 4% unemployment, 10%, 20%. Now it's like, oh well, that's the norm. And that leads to people doing things they don't like. They don't give them meaning. And when they do it, because that's the other thing I was pondering. Because I hear from different places that it's so hard to find good stuff, and there's unemployment. So there is resentment from people employing youngsters, saying, "Oh, those guys are just spoiled. They don't know where they have it." And we start to talk like old people. So like back in my day, And then when you go from their side, what I imagine is something I've seen myself in my parents. Like, well, you, mom and dad, have been working in those jobs with no joy. You broke your back. I've seen my father losing his hearing capabilities through scuba diving 3 times a day, having troubles to see because of the retina is getting, fucked up by scuba diving. My mom has got arthritis from changing beds in 5-star hotels in France, and I was just like, as a kid, no words to say like, I don't want to grow up like the Tom Waits and the Ramones song, and acknowledge that yes, we all long for a job that we love, not just for the money, but now we find ourselves in those bullshit jobs where we all fake it to be doing that thing that doesn't reward us whatsoever. We find every opportunity to do that thing that draws us, that really calls us, and the ability to put words into what is it that we like to do that gives us meaning is, I think, the challenge for the next generation, for this generation, right? I find myself, at times in Zoom meetings, we all do, right? It's just like, what am I doing here? Another useless meeting. And when somebody's talking and we feel like we already know what they're gonna say, there's another screen where we can just read something else or do something else, check somebody else's social media, blah, blah, blah. And so we're not really there. We're not really there in the thing you indulge. And it's again something is screaming in our body like, I don't want to be here. And I'm blessed to be able to have enough unstructured time where I can just do this, just talk to friends and connect and contemplate. So the courage to take time off the logistic and the grind is essential for me. flight agrees.
Sorry?
The Ryanair flight agrees.
Yeah, I think so.
Is taking off.
Yeah, I think the entire system is outdated. The system is not and was never about being who you can be and doing something that you like to do. The system has always been about being a consumer who adds value to society. And that's what everybody, at least before us, was growing up with and basically indoctrinated with. And yeah, looking at the school system for my kids now, it's still the same thing. My daughter needed to leave school because she couldn't get a passing grade in math. She was going to drop math after this year and never do anything with it in her entire life anymore. And in other classes, she got excellent grades. You get judged upon your weakest skill. And there's no, she's was forced to do French for a couple of years. And you don't get stupider by learning some French.
Yeah.
But there's nothing that prepares you for what is actually happening out in society after you're done with school.
Yeah.
Nobody ever taught me how to do my taxes. Nobody ever taught me self-reflection or meditation or being more aware of how you work as a person, of how your mind plays tricks on you, on how society plays tricks on everyone, basically. It's just pumping in knowledge which for 80% isn't even relevant.
It's cool how you're firing shots as shots are being fired. I can't agree more. It's school is supposed to prepare you, and they put you into this factory thing. That's how apparently it got designed, you know, the factory system. You put meat in one side, you get a sausage on the other, all the same size, all in batches, not willing to recognize that some kids grow faster than others. Some kids like this thing. Instead of producing this, I'm part of this class, and you're forced to a pace. And on the other hand, whatever alternative systems are really rare and maybe some romantic, maybe it's like nothing beats. Yeah, I don't know what to say because I don't want to be. I don't know the answer, right? Yeah, my kids go to a Waldorfsteiner, which is supposed to be good for artistic things, but the reality of it is like, meh. Maybe it's, I don't know what's the wonder in there. Maybe I am very cynical too, and I'm still actually very idealistic. But it's, what I want to say is, yeah, basically I just want to find ways to find the spark in everybody, right? So many geniuses were just guys who were bored at school, and so many people that changed their life. They were how you teach a kid to learn how to learn. I think that should be the first thing. Just whatever it is that you like, but understand how your brain works and how it can be fun to learn things instead of. I think that's and I was blessed to have that at the age of 16. A teacher had this extra hours to do whatever he wanted that was not on the curriculum. And you know what? Let's spend some time on that. And how do you learn for your exam? And then he offers some ideas, some mnemotechniques, some understanding how the brain works, and just like, it was not crazy, but just once a week, 1 hour and a half, it was like, wow.
Yeah, but I do think that if you have a system in which you get to develop in a direction that you actually want to develop in, I hope at least for a lot of people, then learning to learn is not an issue anymore.
Yeah.
Because if it piques your interest,
Yeah.
you're going to pick it up anyway.
Yeah. So I guess we want a university that's introduced way earlier and much broader. You know, a place where you can just, I mean, you have books, but you would have so many workshops and clubs where you can meet other people doing weird projects, failing, trying it again, having fun, whether it's science or arts or whatever you're into. And that's a bold idea. But now, what do you think about AI and education? I mean, your opinion is as good as yours, but you hear the narrative that this is great, give a 13-year-old access to an AI and we don't need teachers anymore.
I don't see that happening for the foreseeable future. Then again, if you just focus on the intelligence bit, there's no guarantee that, or actually there is a very good guarantee that in some cases kids would be better off with AI than with certain teachers. But there should be a depth to education that goes beyond exchanging knowledge, that is about your emotional side, about your spiritual side, as in what is my purpose in life, and no matter how well AI can fake that, it is in essence a biological basis that this is formed on, which AI doesn't have. So they, and maybe in the foreseeable future, they could probably approximate this. But no, I don't see that as a substitute.
So go deep on that part. The embodied thing of learning, is that can you clarify this bit for me? What is AI missing and what is necessary for us?
Well, maybe in the current system, nothing, because as we just established, education is basically pumping knowledge into people.
Spoon feeding.
That an AI
like,
could do.
Like the geese.
The geese, yeah, foie gras.
On that.
Yeah, and an AI could be a substitute for that, probably. But education shouldn't just be about imparting knowledge.
Yeah.
There is, it's one of the cornerstones of the education I did last year, which was in the coaching field. And their philosophy is based on there being 4 aspects to every person: the cognitive side, the physical side, the emotional side, and the spiritual side. And there is a lot of, especially in the latter 3, there is a lot of biochemistry going on. Biochemistry that is formed within your brain, within the chemical processes that are going on there. And that is a physiology that IA isn't based on, that AI doesn't have. So there's a clear split between human intelligence and artificial intelligence in that respect. And the best AIs may fool us into believing that there is more to them than just pure computing power, but that is all it is.
Yeah, okay.
Until we start grafting it onto living tissue, there's going to be a gap. And that's exactly the gap that we need to close, in my opinion, in the current educational system.
Yeah, there's this theory in cognitive science that says what you see is like the way we learn or interact with the world is, it has 4 E's. Always forget one, but it's embodied, right? You learn, but a child learns by grabbing pieces and see how they feel, put them in their mouth, right? You learn more a language if you go to a place and have the senses coming to you. You have the extended part of it, which is like we do that with an instrument, right? With our phones, with a computer, with a pencil, right? This is, and you need that thing that extends our bodies, right? You have the enacted, the back and forth. You try and you see how, so it doesn't quite fit, so you adjust constantly. And you have an embodied emotional aspect, because that's what emotions are. It's like a remembrance of a way to resolve a problem. So that's why, some people love surprises, some people hate surprises. Depends on the surprise. If it's always been good surprises, they see it as a positive thing. If it's something that disappoints them, they see it as something that they should be sad about. So that's why. And then you have people extend it even more. They say there is the evolutionary aspect of it. At first it starts a certain way, and then you can recycle it into another way. The way our tongue was first made for testing poison, and before you swallow, now you can use it for so many other things. And then I'm sure I'm forgetting one, because I have 5 E's instead of 6. Embodied, enacted. Yeah, there's also the environment. I think it's the culture that you're on, the embedded aspect. Some things are okay to do, some others you can explore into. So, and AI doesn't have much of that, which means. But this being said, I go back to this thing where I think it's Lao Tzu or some Taoist says, like, a sword into somebody wise is a tool of justice. You give a sword to a foolish person, it becomes a weapon of destruction carelessly. So it feels like, if there is a way to cultivate wisdom first, then we don't need that much AI, right? You feel content with very little. You surrender a bit more, you're a bit more playful, you understand your emotions a bit more, you're more compassionate. And I realized that, not to claim that I'm wiser than anyone, but just to say that there is a potential for, see, this is something that came up with my girlfriend when she says, like, in her work, there's this boss who fell in love with ChatGPT because he's obviously, overwhelmed with all this work, and he understood how he could achieve more with some things, and so he says, this is a good thing. And she was arguing on the fact that, well, be careful what you wish, because you're offloading a lot of your skill to that tool, which means, like, a lot of people are using AI as an illustrator instead of art creation.
Mm-hmm.
That's 2 different things. Illustrate, okay, but then you understand it's a bit of bullshit and you don't care about that. It's just because you have to, as opposed to, like, this is, and there was this anecdote where, what kind of world are we living in? I saw that on Substack, where people are applying for jobs using AI, and then HR is using AI to debunk whether they're using AI. There's this massive bullshit in front of us. at every time. And then there is also the opportunity to, if you manage to ask the right questions and have a conversation with AI about ramifications, that can be very enlightening. But I don't want to leave it just that the tool is neutral and just can be used for good. No, there was this other thing where that came up. Sorry if I'm rambling. Where before the plow, animals were very much respected. You could see it in the paintings, in the walls, that they were mostly not scary animals, but just majestically painted. Because when you hunt a deer, you recognize you're not always successful. You have to be deer-like to follow the animal. And then somehow, way down the line, the plow got up, and it doesn't take long for a man to realize that that thing is stupid, because you have to beat it constantly to go straight. So if you're beating up the ox all the time, you start to think, oh, I am better than this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So the plow was supposed to be neutral, but the format of it made it that it changes the way you see the world. So yeah, tools are not neutral. We have to design them in a way that nudge us towards, wisdom. And that means that we shouldn't rush into things, which is exactly the opposite of what seems to be happening.
Yeah, I agree. And it's, I think, a very valid question as to how much longer it's going to be before this is going to go out of our control.
Yeah, I feel despair and this nervous laugh coming. Yeah, I care, and yet, don't know what to do other than
Time to start stocking up on EMP grenades.
yeah. Is there anything you want to talk about, or we have a good conversation?
No, I think I've mostly run dry by now.
That was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It's nice to be out here.
Yeah. Despite the planes, they are not as frequent as other times. This place seems pretty much alive and inviting. I used to go to the dunes near the Efteling, and it was a bit of a drive, but now I know that I have this thing that can explore more and be more in the trees, and yeah, this is cool.
Yeah, I agree.
I love revisiting your journey. Do you have I want to start this thing. Do you have a song that you want to recommend as an outro for this episode?
Oh, Jesus.
Something from you or from anybody else?
Ah, not for me. Feel free to listen to my songs as much as you like, but I'm not going to promote them like that. Yeah. I'm always inclined to suggest something by Deftones, but the problem is I don't have any idea what their songs are about. Because the storytelling is so thick and so veiled in all kinds of metaphors, and or at least that's how it strikes me.
Yeah, they dealt with the death of their bass player, right? Was it the bass player who died? Yeah, and
quite a while ago.
I saw them live too at 013. Oh no, was it FNR? Oh, no, it was 013.
Beats me.
And that was awesome. Well, I'll pick something from Deftones. I love them. It's so dark. I think that that existential teenage angst. You look at teenage years with condescendence because, if you knew, but guess what? It's the same feeling that you're gonna have when you have middle-age crisis and when you're on the doorstep of death, I think. So it's more than ever. Anybody who visits that artistically is doing the Lord's work, I think.
I think in the end, at least speaking for myself, I'm just gonna be that kid wandering around in a world he doesn't understand until the day I die. Because the more I do come to understand about the world, the more I realize that there's so much more that I don't understand, and that I'm never gonna understand. So in that sense, that existential angst, I think is here to stay, basically. Yeah. And on that bombshell.
Oh, look at that. Des doing philosophy. Who would have thought?
I'm gonna recommend the track 976 Evil.
Oh, cool. 976 Evil. I'm not sure if I know it, so I'll be discovering and
I'm
promoting
pretty
it.
sure, I have no idea why that's the title of the song, but it has,
Recent album or?
the vibe.
Or-
It's from, I think it's from Diamond Eyes.
Okay, I think I did. I stopped at White Pony and the early ones around the fur and stuff. So, okay.
They have released very few subpar albums.
I'll have to dig back. Okay. Well, that's good because I love them. I love their melodies, their experimentation with extra strings on their guitars,
Yeah.
their soundscapes, the voices that go high range, and this screaming that sounds really crawling from the bottom of the abyss of a soul.
Fuck yeah.
And still be able to do that after all these years is like controlled without breaking your voice is quite mesmerizing. And he looks a bit like a Buddha with his funky ears. Chino Moreno.
Huh?
Cool. Well, thanks Des for joining me for this little walk. This was a lovely pleasure, I guess.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, maybe we can do a episode 2 at some point if I happen to enjoy this creative process after this 10 episodes. But cool, thanks.
Likewise.